This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Your guess is as good as mine. Coming up, the categories today will be murder and bartending. In the meantime, it is a random question. 844-999-OLA.
Random.
Hello,
random,
Tristan.
random,
Welcome to the
random,
men's room.
Random.
Hola.
Hola. Hello, Tristan.
How's it going?
Doing good. All right, there's a bug going around now, Tristan. I don't know if you've caught it yet. Hopefully you won't.
My girl.
Your girlfriend's got it?
Yeah, she gave it to me.
Okay, so you're sick right now.
So I'm getting over it. I just have like a bad cough.
All right, okay. Well, let's go back in time a little bit. And our random question for you. At what point in your life were you really, really, really sick? Like, when did it get bad? Like, where even though you're sick, there's a line where you go like, all right, maybe we need to take him in to the doctor.
Oh, God. Okay. So basically it was the summer of my 8th grade, and I was about to go into high school, become about to become a freshman. It's like a week before band camp because I was one of those nerds. And we were in Oregon visiting my mom's parents. And like one day I just started feeling like I had like this weird like bump on my thumb. Like it was like I had a paper cut or something, but it wasn't.
Right.
You know, as time went on, like next morning I woke up and I had a really bad sore throat. Time went on, we were driving home, and it was like a 5-hour drive from like Portland to back in Monroe, and it was very coming up like really bad traffic, and I just started feeling like super flushed, super cold, even though it was like 80 degrees outside. And
Would you get some kind of Oregonian infection?
something like that, but pretty much I got turned out I had scarlet fever.
Well, that's kind of a big deal.
Scarlet fever?
Yeah.
How do you even get scarlet fever? I
You
thought-
read books about English literature.
Yeah, I was like, man, I thought that was just something you worried about if you lived in the 1800s.
Sounds like he laid with an unclean woman.
Not yet. He hadn't even made it to band camp. So did you go to the hospital?
What up? What was that?
Did you go to the hospital?
Yeah, once we got home, they checked my fever, and it was like pushing 100 and almost 105. And we were like, checked my heart rate, and they were like, yeah, let's take him to the hospital.
Did they explain how they think you got scarlet fever? I just want to know so I can avoid doing whatever it is you did.
Man, the only thing I could imagine was I went to some county fair in near Vancouver.
You probably pet a llama or something and gave it to you. You know what I mean?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But oh my God, that was the worst I've ever felt in my life, and it gives you this horrible rash.
Where does the rash show up?
Anywhere.
Ew.
So
Thankfully, from what I can remember, I didn't get a rash anywhere in that general area, if you know what I'm talking about.
All right.
But it's it was crazy. Like, I just looked at my hand, I could literally see the rash kind of forming.
It literally says you get sore throat, fever, headaches, swollen lymph nodes, and a characteristic rash.
Yeah, I'm ready to say you see the picture of the tongue.
What's wrong with him? He got the scarlet fever. He's
Yeah,
gonna miss
dude, I've
band
never
camp.
known anyone that said it affects a small number of people that have a strep throat. Maybe it's strep throat or you had a skin infection, all right? It can be spread by coughing or sneezing. There's no vaccine. Prevention is by frequent hand washing. The thing is, like everything they're saying about this seems to be the same way you get anything, whether it's the flu, a cold, scarlet fever, but most people don't get scarlet frickin' fever.
Oh, boy. Okay. The reason we asked, when were you really, really sick? David Worsley, he's 59 years old, and he went on vacation and caught African salmonella, a strain of the infection which was confined to his genital area.
I got huge.
David Worsley has now told and explained how his left testicle exploded like a volcano. The grandfather was in agony as his private swelled to 10 times their normal size when he got home.
Much like the Grinch when he discovered the true meaning of Christmas.
His left testicle then burst as he had a bath, and he is now taking legal action against the tour operator. He said, "I was told that I had a rare form of salmonella called African salmonella. Over the holiday, my testicle had swollen to the size of a grapefruit, and it was so heavy, it was like it was made of glass." Doctors banned David from sleeping with his wife during the ordeal. The 59-year-old was holidaying at the Polo Hotel in Tanzania. The pain was so bad I thought I was going to die. When it finally exploded, though, I felt fantastic. It was such a relief.
You know, I think when my testicles explode, I too am like, thank goodness that happened.
Yes, the doctor said I was highly contagious. I was not allowed to sleep with my wife. I was walking around holding them up all the time. It was so heavy. It was so heavy. A few days later, I awoke at about 5 a.m. with the most excruciating pain in my left testicle. I could barely move. I was in tears from the agony. David said it literally went bang. When the doctor saw it later, she said that it was like a volcano exploding, but it was such a relief pressure because the pain had been so bad. He's been seeing a psychologist after the ordeal to try to deal with some of the...
Not a physical doctor.
Not a doctor.
His testicles exploded, and he needs mental health. That makes sense to me.
But he said it felt fantastic when it finally exploded. He's got a lawyer now, and he's going to see if he can't sue the tour operator who sent him on this lovely tour.
How do they say what you do to get African salmonella?
They do not say that. I'm assuming
See,
that he
again,
ate something,
Starts
right?
with a trip to Africa.
Right.
Yep.
Starts with a trip to Africa. But again, I feel like, hey, man, let us know what it is we can do to avoid that. Because I think I speak on behalf of all men everywhere where we don't want our testicles to swell and we don't want them to explode.
Didn't we have a caller say like that she adopted like a cat or a dog from Thailand or someplace and it had some kind
what
of
was
mite
it?
and it came back and like she caught it?
Yeah, it was a cat.
That doesn't sound too crazy.
Something happened. I don't know.
Have you ever had a sickness like that? Like not the testicle thing, but like the scarlet fever or anything?
No, I mean, I just I just went
chickenpox.
through. My daughter went through going through the flu, and it's funny because the kids just got the flu shot, right? And I say this every year: look, if you want to get a flu shot, get a flu shot. But it's one of those things. I found out a few years ago that they don't know the strain of flu that's going to be the big one where you call it the flu, right? And they said on average they have about 10 to 18% chance of guessing right. So my kids get a flu shot. I do not get a flu shot. I get the flu. But then my daughter, who got a flu shot, also got the flu. And the doctor even said, oh, well, what you've got versus what we gave him the flu shot, they're two different strains of the flu. So I'm like, basically, thank God they're free. But nevertheless, I'm like, so you just roll the dice. You gave my kid the flu the first time. Then my kid got the flu again for real. And it was a goddamn nightmare this weekend. It was a very
you don't know,
hot,
man.
sweaty, coffee household.
I got the flu bad once around Christmas, right?
Uh-huh.
So my dad had gotten us tickets to go see an NFL football game on Christmas Eve, my birthday. So we go. The entire game, like, I don't say a word, right? And as a little kid, I like sports.
Sure.
So then Christmas shows up, and everybody's like, are you feeling okay? But long story short, the 27th, we finally go to the doctor, and like, oh, he's got pneumonia. We got to check him into the hospital ASAP.
Yeah, it's
But it was like over Christmas, so it's like you don't feel that terrible, but you feel bad.
You're laying
Adrenaline's
around
different.
anyway.
Yeah.
you're
well, then you get
eating,
worried because
you're
you're like, well,
sleeping.
you know what, walking pneumonia, which is an infection of the lungs. And yesterday, as I'm coughing up some bright green stuff, right? And I'm like, man, I hope this isn't pneumonia. And trust me, I don't feel great today, but I feel a hell of a lot better than I did last week. But I go to spit this stuff out of my mouth. I'm outside smoking a cigarette. It's a little heavier than I'm used to, so it does not go the distance I thought. So basically, it lands like 2 feet in front of me, and I almost threw up looking at what came out of my mouth. The part that spit, like, that kind of washes away in the rain, but the stuff that adhered and stayed, it looked like pale green cottage cheese curds, right? And I mean, man, listen, I cannot explain how much it disturbed me. So about 3 hours later, I go out to smoke another cigarette. I sit down in my little chair that I sit in when I smoke out front, and man, that pale green cottage cheese curds, there's like 3 of them, they're still there. No amount of rain, no amount of wind, nothing could remove these things. And I'm like, oh my God. So I finally had to like clean them up myself. I thought the elements would take care of it. The wind is blowing, it's raining. I'm like, I'm not going to do nothing.
Not when you drop one.
Nah, dude.
Not a good one.
Random.
I hope you weren't eating lunch. Hello, Vince. Welcome to the men's room. Hello, Vince. Vinny.
Vince.
Goodbye, Vince.
Say goodbye to Vince.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola! What's going on?
Hola.
Hola. All right, Aaron, let's do this one. Aaron, have you ever tried Viagra? That's your random question.
No, I haven't.
You've never tried it.
No.
Do you know anybody who has?
If I did, they probably wouldn't even admit to it, so I'm just going to say no.
All right, let me ask you this. Would you say that they would not admit to it because you believe that that would mean that they couldn't do that on their own?
Probably either that or what they got going on their own isn't, sufficient.
So in other words, you already suspect those of your friends that you think have taken it. Like, there's no way he could do this without the help.
I guess. I don't really know any, older people, so.
Right, okay. Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever been so drunk that maybe you could have used some?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So how many times have you struck out there at the plate even when you thought you had a home run, but just got too late in the evening?
It's happened twice that I can remember.
All right, because that's the only thing I could think from
But
being
does it
youthful
help
that would
then?
stop you.
Because most medications you take, they say don't take with alcohol, either because it'll be toxic or the alcohol renders it useless. Is that the same with Viagra? Because I would think right now, and who knows what the future holds, but right now, if I needed a Viagra, it's always because of case of the whiskey D. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've heard you can.
It still works.
Sure,
Even
sure,
okay. All right.
sure.
No, that's good to know, man. That's,
Well, the reason we asked have you ever taken Viagra, an American tourist in Phuket, Thailand.
Phuket. I don't think that's
arrested.
how they say it, but in the States we keep saying Phuket.
He was arrested and transported to a
PH?
hospital for a
Yeah.
psychiatric evaluation after allegedly overdosing on Viagra and causing a disgusting scene at the Phuket International Airport. Steve Chow, 27-year-old man from New York, was subdued by no less than 6 security guards as well as additional airport staff after he was observed wandering nude through the departures area of the airport while waiting for a flight to South Korea. And by the way, if you're wondering, yes, the Viagra was working.
Oh,
Why did he take it before a flight?
He took 6.
why on earth would you take 6 Viagra?
He accepted responsibility to reimburse for any damages that he caused.
Didn't he throw poop at people?
His trip was canceled. He was brought to, however, he would like to insist the officers did not harm him when they arrested him. Well, no kidding. He was
naked with an erection.
Right.
They want to touch him as little as possible. Of course he wasn't harmed.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, there's more. You're right. The same day, Ted, a man aboard a United Airlines flight from Chicago to Hong Kong managed to get the plane diverted to Alaska after smearing his own feces in the plane's bathroom. Same day. Fly the friendly skies. Random question, 844-999-OLA. More of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
What you don't need to know goes to the United States of Walmart. That's coming up right before we drink and toast with a shot of the day. In the meantime, it is our random question 844-999-OLA. And here come a few comments.
We got a few about scarlet fever, one about Viagra. So with scarlet fever, it says, my son carries the scarlet fever gene. He's had 3 outbreaks in 17 years.
Huh.
I did not realize it could be a gene, but then someone says, my sister had scarlet fever. If I remember correctly, it can manifest from an untreated strep throat. So if you have strep throat and you know you have strep throat, based on the fact that scarlet fever seems to be the next follow-up, go get that dealt with.
Okay.
And then as far as Viagra goes, it says, when I was in junior high, kid took his dad's Viagra, ended up breaking his penis during PE. An ambulance had to come and take the kid.
Oh, my God.
That's
not how you're supposed to do
No,
it. That's
man.
Not
I can't even wrap my
You're not supposed to do
head.
chin-ups with it. You're supposed to...
Push-ups.
Random question 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Nate. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola!
Hola.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hang on.
Once again, bedroom colors, here are the 7 words you can't say on the radio. Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now, back to the program.
Everyone from Spanaway with just their hands in their head like, don't do this.
All right, Nate. Let's try that again with fewer F-bombs.
Hey, sorry about that. So I'm from Spanaway, and the doctors say I'm fine, and obviously I don't sound fine. My throat, my voice going out. But my question is why do you guys have so much emphasis on the W? You guys say KISW, right?
Yeah.
Why is it KISW? Why do they say that so weird at the end, bro? I gotta ask.
The W?
W?
So KISW.
W. I'd crack up all the time. I have to turn it up for my friends. I'm like, listen to this, guys. KISW. It's just so funny to me, man.
Well, part of the reason we say W, to be honest with you,
Mikey, you screening calls today?
it's weird, but because that's how it's pronounced, we choose to do that. And the other thing, man, if you're getting broad, it could be TV, radio, whatever, movies. They'll tell you, everyone else says W. And they're like, please don't do that. At least sound like you're literate if you're going to be on the broadcast. Everyone else can say KISW, WCMF.
W.
But it's one of the first things. They're like, man, don't say W.
Yeah.
And I'm not joking. Like, that's the one letter. And after doing this for years, we just say W. But in the end, we don't feel bad saying W because that's actually, how it's pronounced.
They made us do it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, guys.
All right, hey, great talking to you, man.
On that.
Thanks, brother. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, have a good day, man.
You too, man. Thanks.
Dude, he just reversed it.
He did.
He called us with a random question.
Wow, that was crazy.
I like that.
Wow, man, that is deep.
And he called us.
What the hell?
Yeah, he called
happened
us. He said, I'll reverse the question on you suckers.
Why do you say W at the end of KISW? Other than the fact that that's how you say KISW.
And isn't part of it just maybe it's emphasized as it's the last letter?
That's part of it, right? It's the
Probably.
last letter. Well, I don't know. You say WCMF.
That's right.
F.
Nah, yeah, you don't do that. WCMF Rochester.
No offense. I would emphasize the MF. That's just me. It's childish. WCMF, right?
Like
Right.
CMP.
Right. You like
CM
deliberate.
Ducks.
You listening to WCMF.
MR over there.
Yeah, something like that.
What was this random question?
We don't know.
Well,
I didn't give it to him because he was just like, dude, he dropped the F-bomb and he did his thing, and I was like, all right, I figured he's gone. He's
Can
like,
I have it?
awesome. Yeah. I don't know if you're gonna like this one or not, though.
oh, damn it. W.
What happened to your family pet?
Oh, that's all right, man.
Tigger?
Tigger. T-I-double-Ger.
What happened to Tigger?
He got put down. Like, I knew. I didn't care. I was like a teenager. Like, he had a good run.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it wasn't traumatic, even though he'd been there most of your life.
Correct.
You
Like,
could just-
he
you could-
was.
He'd been in that place.
Yeah, he wasn't doing so hot, so it wasn't shot. The only thing is that's weird about Tigger when we put him down was that, like,
Did he laugh like Tigger?
no, but he jumped a lot. Like Tigger.
All right.
Yeah.
But then when we put him down, nobody else really cared because he had a skin disease and stuff. He was kind of a gross dog. All right, look, full disclosure.
He just wasn't aesthetically pleasing to the
Right,
eye.
he
Like, no
was-
one wanted to randomly come up and pet this dog.
Right. He was my guy. So, like, I always liked him. But then when my mom was like, yeah, he went to a farm, I was kind of like, okay, Mom.
Yeah.
But then, like, my sister got all worked up. Like, can you believe Tigger's gone and this and that? Like, yeah, none of y'all cared about his ugly ass until he was gone.
Hey, man, so we, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I had to put my dog down. And the dog's been around longer than the kids, all right? So I've told this before, but fast forward a bit. This is right before the Christmas season starts in earnest. And to be honest with you, you go in, you put your dog down, and it is what it is. It's an emotional thing. But they come up to you and they hit you at your worst, right? Because you're already, I can't believe I put my dog down. They're like, hey, we'll cremate the remains. You pick them up a few days from now, whatever. So I'm like, yeah. Which, by the way, I don't know what I'm going to do with the remains now, but I'm like, sure. That's what I want to do. I love my dog, all right? So dog gets cremated. A couple days go by. Pick it up, and the ashes right now are in a box. And the box is in a bag, and they hand you basically a box of Dust Dog, all right? So I'm like, and at that time.
Dust Dog.
Yeah, Dust Dog. And I'm like, why did I do this? You know what I mean? Like, I still just have the memory of the dog. That's good enough. I got the pictures, all that crap. But now I physically have, like, a pile of burned up dog in a box, and it really seems like I should have reconsidered this, whatever. So I don't know what to do with this. I get home, and it's a pretty heavy box, man. But, like, I get home, and I'm like, what do I do with a box of dust that used to be a dog? So until I could figure it out, I just put it in the back corner of the closet. Didn't give it another thought. About a week goes by. Both of my kids have this devilish smile on their face in the living room, and they're like, Daddy, Christmas is coming. I said, yeah, I know this, guys. Christmas is coming. We were just in your bedroom. I'm like, yeah, I'm not tracking with them yet. I think we found a gift. I said, wait a minute, man. Is it in a box, in a bag, sitting on top of a pile of Daddy's shoes? And they're like, yeah. So that's not a gift. That's your dog. And there was this weird, awkward pause. Both of their mouths popped open, and I just stared at them until they understood. Then they kind of just nodded slowly. And I said, yeah,
Walked out.
that's what you get for
Keep
sleeping
going
around.
through Dad's crap.
Right. Instead of finding a gift, you
Yeah.
find your dead
Yeah.
pet. How
That's
you
a-
feeling?
That's a bong is what that is.
Stay the hell out of my closet. And, I will say this. They have been less snoopy
Good.
since then.
Reason we asked what happened to the family pet, we go down to the Gold Coast, where a Gold Coast woman is mourning the loss of her beloved Chihuahua after it died in a David and Goliath battle with a brown snake. Evangeline Lim believes her 10-year-old dog Cooper was trying to save her when he took on a highly venomous snake just as she was about to step outside to hang out her clothes to be dried. The snake was upside down, and Cooper was on top of it and wrestling it. He was obviously saving me from the snake. Miss Lim and her partner managed to rescue Cooper by putting a pot plant on top of the brown snake, but the tiny pooch had already been bitten. Cooper seemed fine at the time. He totally seemed fine. He wasn't panicking. He was just sitting there. Well, a short time later, like 5 minutes, Cooper disappeared and was found cowering under a couch near the pool. We rushed to get to the car and take him to the vet. My daughter was backing the car out, but by this point, he was already going into cardiac arrest. There's literally maybe a 10-minute period. She said the family has been left devastated by Cooper's death, but she does thank him for hopefully saving them from being bitten by a brown snake, which is one of the most poisonous snakes in the world, and of course, it's in Australia.
Yeah.
Of course.
And then we have one more for you as far as
if
the
it's
family
not
pet.
hot enough. Isn't it like the hottest it's ever been in Australia?
117 degrees in Melbourne the other day.
Right. And then a snake's eating her dog.
117 degrees.
Think about that.
117. Oh, that was another one, buddy, who called in with a W. They told us when we were first starting out in radio, never say degrees.
All right.
Whenever you're doing the weather, whatever you do, man, don't say degrees. It's understood. Like, listen to me, all right? High today in Melbourne, 117 degrees. They know it's degrees, goddammit. You have to say that. Just say, high today, 117.
They used to say that, but I'd always argue, why do we tell people the weather? They live in a house with goddamn windows.
Yeah.
They're going to open their effing door. When they get in traffic, if they drive during rush hour, they know traffic sucks. I'm like, why do we waste our time telling anybody the crap they already know?
And don't pop your peas in the microphone.
You're just kind of met with this kind of dumbfounded look. I'm like, right, half of what we say is stupid. I would just rather have stupid and have fun than being stupid and waste your time. Hey, guess what? If you're driving on Thursday morning at 7:30 a.m. on the main expressway around your town, traffic's backed up. No effing kidding. You want to know if it's raining? Look out your window.
And the other reason we asked what happened to your family pet, man, oh man, this is terrible. We all know Christina Aguilera.
Sure.
Never heard of her.
She announced the death of her dog Stinky on Instagram.
Stinky.
She said, quote, I had to finally make the hard decision to put my beloved Stinky down last night
She flushed the toilet.
after an amazing 17 years. You were my roadie, Stinky, through the tours. You were there for my breakup, Stinky, and my life's many ups and downs. Run free and with no more misery. Stinky led a full life. Papillon dogs, I guess, are only supposed to live to be about 13. 17 is pretty impressive for Stinky.
Papillon?
Is that Papillon? Papillon. Yeah, Christina's post included a tribute video for Stinky, the song Loyalty by Kendrick Lamar. It's unclear whether that was Stinky's favorite song or if Christina just thought that it fit, but either way, that was
His favorite song was Humble.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Loyalty.
I mean, overall, as long as it's K-Dot, he's cool.
I think if she cared, she's a goddamn songwriter. She'd write a song called Stinky. Write a song called Stinky, right? This kind of music. Oh, Stinky.
Unfortunately, the only thing it rhymes with is Pinky.
How I miss you on my pinky Stinky.
Random question, 844-999-OLA.
Random.
Hello, Justin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
Hello there, Justin.
What's going on?
Oh, doing the random question. All right, let's go with this one. Where do you hide things?
Where do I hide things? I got one for that.
All right.
Back when I was probably 13, 14, started smoking, chewing, and to keep my nosy parents away from finding it, I had this foam finger from a Sonics game years and years ago. So I cut out perfect little holes in boxes, stuffed it full of chewing cigarettes. And my old man didn't find it until I moved out, and he was pretty proud of it.
Oh, just thought as far as your technique that you'd outsmarted everybody.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, I see the foam finger, but nothing excites me about putting my hand in one.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
No.
I love a foam finger.
So you'd have found this stuff
I mean,
right
as
away.
a child, I had tons of them.
On your hand, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to be clear. I mean, like, there's different ways to love a foam finger, you know?
But
Oh, my
Thrill,
God.
it's a giant hand with one finger.
I know,
up,
one finger.
and it's foam.
You know, I never thought to hide anything in there, and you're right. I think I had one as a kid for something.
But,
I mean, are they as popular now? Like, when I was a kid, it seemed like every sporting event you went to, you could get the giant foam finger.
Well, I think that, man, I feel like if you're under the age of, say, 16, 15 years old, somehow you end up, and here's the difference, man. Anything I want, it can be a concert, it can be a sporting event. If I want something, I have to pay for it. If I walk in with my kids each get the thing that I would have normally paid for. They just get it handed to them.
got a question for you about the nicotine. You still on it? You still
What's
smoke?
that?
You still smoke? You still chew?
Yeah, both.
See, that's the danger. The danger is the fact that, like when we start doing that stuff at that young of an age where they say, like, one hit off a crack pipe and you're never coming back. I've hit a crack pipe before. I'm here. One hit off a cigarette, I'm still smoking cigarettes.
Right.
So the difference is that as innocent as that sounds, like, well, at least they didn't catch you with weed in there. Probably would have been better.
Yeah, weed's not
Yeah,
addictive.
like you don't wake up in the morning and have a beer. It probably would be better if you had a 12-pack in that foam finger than you did a pack of cigarettes, because in the end, what's going to cost you more money and do more damage to your body? I'm guilty as charged.
Sure.
Like, that's I'm one of those people who've been addicted for a long time, trying to quit a lot. But yeah, that's the tough part about that. It seems like, well, at least you were only hiding tobacco. But the bottom line is, man, that's the toughest monkey to get off your back off a mall.
It really is, man. I've had my kids, they go, why do you smoke? I tell them, because daddy's an idiot. Don't ever do this. Don't ever do this.
No. And I tell you what, one of the worst times I ever got into trouble on the air, as far as the listeners were concerned. This was a few years back, but we were talking about where do you hide your drugs, where do you hide your stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm a golfer. You can hide anything in a golf bag. Put that thing in the back of your trunk, man. There are 9 gazillion pockets. You're never going to find it. I got it. You're never going to find it. Like, I could have a pound of Coke in my golf bag, and no one would even know it was there.
And then you said this, and everyone's wife
Like, everybody
went straight
oh my
to the
God,
golf
you
bag.
just gave away my perfect hiding. And I'm like thinking to myself, no, I didn't. Because you know of all the different pockets and zippers
But
that
you
are secret
did.
in there.
But you did.
But you don't even know all the secret pockets. Like, everybody's got secret pockets in their golf bag. Dude, there's more pockets in there than you can imagine.
Yeah, but you just told everyone where to look. I can
Everybody's
say,
pissed
I'm
off
not
at
going
me.
to tell you what room of my house the stash of drugs
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
but it's somewhere
It's
in
in
there.
my house. That's right. They're going to tear apart
You're
your
gonna look
house.
till you
I went
find
for
it.
over a decade
That's why
hiding it.
cops tear your house apart. Like, we know it's here somewhere. If we knew it was in the living room, we would just go there. But we don't.
I went for over a decade hiding all my weed in my golf bag, man.
Yeah, but you don't tell people.
Yeah, I mean, we live at home.
But you
wherever it was.
don't tell
that's it.
people. That's the whole thing, man.
Exactly. A woman faces criminal charges for smuggling a glass pipe with methamphetamine residue into the Juneau County Jail. Michelle Detman is charged with felony bail, jumping, delivering illegal articles to an inmate, possession of methamphetamine, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. According to the criminal complaint, after being pulled over and arrested for a previous offense, Detman arrived at the Juneau County Jail at approximately 6 a.m. and walked into the changeover room. All of her clothing items were searched and placed in a property bag. Detman was given an orange jail uniform. After showering, she was moved to the pod at the jail. About 2 hours later, a deputy was advised by an inmate that she needed to speak with her right away. The inmate stated that Michelle had shown and offered an inmate meth and showed her the pipe that she had brought in as she took it from her vagina.
Why did the inmate rat her out?
Probably because
not
she
into
didn't want to
meth.
smoke that thing. Because where it came from. While Devin was sitting on the toilet, the deputy asked her to show what was in her pocket. When she refused, she did eventually reveal the contents of her pocket. But yes, she brought in meth and a glass pipe and brought it in a feminine little container, I guess, so to speak.
Her vagina?
Yes.
Would you smoke weed out of a pipe if you're in jail?
Right.
All right, you're already in jail. You're going to be there for a couple years.
Yeah.
And you know where the pipe came from, but it's got weed in it.
Anything I think you're smoking
Maybe-
is butt transport, right?
I assume it's butt transport, but even if I decide not to because I know it's been in your butt or whatever, as a guy, probably in the butt, if I'm a woman and it was in her vagina, even if the answer is no, what I'm not going to do is rat you out. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's like when people get the cops called on, I'm like, I saw 2 people at night behind bushes out of public view having sex. I'm not going to call the cops. I don't care. Even if you offered for me to join you and I turn it down, I'm not going to bust you. So, like, if I'm in jail and Miles poops out a crack pipe and smokes crack, like, that's on him, man.
I think the hardest
don't
would be
care.
cigarettes. to
I'm
get up
already
there.
in jail.
I think you can
man.
break the
That's what I'm
cigarette
saying.
in half.
I'm hitting the weed.
You're smoking
Yeah,
a
it's
butt
probably in a
pipe.
plastic
Pass
bag.
it over,
It's probably in a
brother.
plastic bag. I mean, they're not just going to put a nug up there.
You know what, though, man?
I'll smoke your keister weed.
And look, man, and we all know if you've done any drugs, you've done drugs that have been in someone's butt.
Sure.
Right?
No question.
Maybe you didn't see them pull it out, but at some point, the drugs you're smoking, snorting, or washing down with beer, chances are some of that has been in someone's rectum.
More so than weed. Random question, 844-999. Ola, more your calls on the way. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Still to come, your guess is as good as mine. The categories today, murder and bartending. We'll do your guess is as good as mine right after emails to the Men's Room at mensroomlive.com. In the meantime, it is our random question. 844-999. Ola.
Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola.
Hola. How you doing today, Jessica?
I'm good. How are you?
Don't worry about how I am.
Good.
We're asking you.
Okay.
All right, Jessica, this might be a tough one. But where did you wake up?
In bed.
You never had one of those things where you've just woken up and you realized, oh, I'm in the movies, or hey,
I'm in bed, but not my bed.
I'm driving, or hey, I'm in someone's bathroom that I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like friends' houses after a night of partying, wake up and realize like, oh, I don't know where I'm at. You know, maybe it's a little fuzzy.
That was kind of the idea of the question. I woke up in a boxwood bush at one point in time. I was walking home, and it was kind of like peanuts. You know, like the snow was falling on these huge, heavy flakes, and they were just kind of falling real slow. And it was just one of those heavy snows. It's just kind of peaceful and quiet. The wind's not blowing. It's just falling. And it seemed warm to me. So I laid back in this bush, and I'm looking up, and I'm looking at the snow coming down, and I'm catching some in my tongue, and I'm kind of messed up, and I'm like, looking around. And then all of a sudden, like it was like 2 seconds later, some guys grabbed me by the arm going, sir, mister, wake up, are you alive? And I'm like, hey, what? Yes. And he brushes the snow off my face. And I continued my walk home.
You probably look like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining.
I think I look like, you know what
I mean? Like, oh my God, there's a dead frozen dude in the bushes.
The boxwood is
such a kind of messed up. Like you passed out in a bush while
in the snow,
just
looking up at
the snow as it fell down. You know, like I woke up, man. Like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. How long have I been out? I wonder. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up naked on the street corner in a motorcycle helmet. I didn't even own a goddamn motorcycle.
I can't stop that.
Okay.
No, you don't want to. I'm not proud of that. I've woken up in my own apartment and thought my roommates were playing a joke on me because as I woke up, there's this massive Rottweiler that I don't recognize dead asleep between my bed and the door. And I laid in bed for 20 minutes contemplating how I want to play this because I don't know how the dog's going to react, but there's no way to open the door without waking up the dog. And I'm on the third floor of a row home, so I'm not jumping out the window. And after 20 minutes, I realized I have nothing to worry about because that Rottweiler is actually my leather jacket crumpled in front of the door.
You ever wake up?
Oh, dude, seriously, for 20 minutes. And I'm in my mind, dude, I'm so pissed. And my roommate's like, this isn't goddamn funny, man. I don't know who's freaking dog. I don't even know anyone with the Rottweiler. I know we got messed up last night. I cannot believe they put this bit. And look, it's something I would do. But I always get mad when people do it to me when I do to them, right? I cannot believe they put this freaking dog between me and the door, man. How am I getting out of my room? And for 20 minutes, I'm staring at this. And when my eyes finally clear up, I'm like, or that's my jacket. Okay, it's all good. And trust me, I did not share this with my roommates. I'm going to keep that one to myself.
Yeah. I didn't go to my bedroom once because there was a weird vibrating, sound coming out of there. And there was nobody else in the house, right? Like, I walked in, it's just the end of the hallway, and there's just this sound every about minute or two.
All right.
So I'm really freaked out. So I wait a little bit. Like, my brother and his friend show up. I said, I don't know what's in there. We got to go take it down. It was just my pager on vibrate.
That's it.
On a piece of metal.
But it's weird. The things that, there's two things. So my kids will come in, especially during wintertime where the sun doesn't come up until later, and like you're asleep, and you kind of hear them talking to you, but it's kind of in a dream. And then you slowly wake up, and as your eyes open up, it's just the silhouette of someone standing 6 inches away from you. And your reaction, of course, is, my bad? What do you need? The other day, my laundry was piling up, and the way it piled up, so the laundry basket is kind of in my field of view, and the laundry piled up out of the basket, so it's like 4 feet tall. But however I threw everything in the laundry, it looked like a head with long hair. So you peel your eyes open, and the first thing I see, in my estimation, is this faceless humanoid thing standing at the foot of my bed staring at me. And I'm telling you, I had to pucker my ass for about a second, like, what the? And I realized, it's your dirty laundry, man. Just relax.
The reason we asked, where did you wake up? Maya's is the story. Gordon Pryor, he's 60 years old, lives in New Zealand, and he woke just before dawn on December the 29th to make an alarming discovery. a complete stranger was passed out on his sofa. But rather than freak out and wake the guy up and kick him out of the house, no, old Gordon Pryor, who's 60 years old, he was a little more patient than that because he was a well-traveled man and he'd been around the world and he noticed the smell of alcohol on the young man's breath. The rest of the story is coming up. But yeah, he woke up and there's a teenager basically sleeping on his couch, passed out drunk. Random question, 844-999-OLA.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.